When Beyonce prepared for Coachella 2019, she followed the 22-day nutrition plan to get herself into tip-top shape, and as we all saw the results, she looked amazing as usual. My name is Tia, published tasty recipe creator and blogger at delishfitlife.com, where I share tasty and simple vegan recipes that make food and life delish. I also help people lead healthier lives by eating more plants, all in an effort to eradicate chronic illnesses such as heart disease, high blood pressure, and diabetes. When I created this recipe, I imagined that Beyonce would eat something like this vegan shrimp and grits on a weekend when she's kind of relaxing and allowing herself to have something a little bit more delicious and decadent, but all following the 22-day nutrition plan, which is simple because it's just fresh ingredients, is vegan, and both soy and gluten-free. The bonus to this recipe is that it's also oil-free, so it's very naturally low in fat. So if you'd like to see how I made it and how you can too, and eat like Beyonce for breakfast, then just keep watching. Alright guys, let's get started. This is another simple and quick recipe, but super tasty nonetheless. I've got some fresh chopped tomatoes going in here with a little bit of red onions and salt and pepper. So, you know, if Beyonce can eat like this, then so can you. So why not? I urge you guys to try this recipe. Again, it's rich in flavor, low in fat, and the perfect thing to eat if you're trying to lose a little bit of weight, or, you know, you just like eating tasty stuff. So I've got some tomatoes, red onions going in the pan here with some salt and pepper, and next I'm gonna just continue to build the flavors here, but first I want to bring this up to a nice simmer, and look how pretty that is already. I mean, you can probably eat this with something, but not yet. I'm gonna add a little bit of no chicken broth here and just kind of continue to let everything just marry together. This easily could go on some rice or be like a base for soup or something like that. But again, today we are making vegan shrimp and grits, and I just can't tell you enough how much I love this dish. So this coconut whipping cream is a new product that I just tried, and I can tell you that you'll probably be seeing a lot more of it. It doesn't have a whole lot of fat or sugars, and I actually also like adding it to my tea in the morning. So it's just an awesome product, so you should definitely check it out. So I added it in here just to add a nice silky creaminess to this, like your traditional shrimp and grits. There's all different kinds, you know. Some people do like the brown gravy shrimp and grits, some people like a white sauce, some people like a more tomato based sauce, but I have always traditionally liked shrimp and grits with a tomato and a cream sauce. So it's just absolutely wonderful. So I'm going in with some garlic just to continue to deepen up these flavors, and just keep a really light simmer going, and just continue to stir the pan just to make sure nothing sticks or anything. But this one is super easy, guys, I really promise. And I just can't get over how pretty it looked the entire time throughout the cooking process. So here I added some seafood seasoning, so you can use some Old Bay or homemade seafood seasoning or whatever you like, and just continue to build on the flavors here. And these shiitake mushrooms are nice and meaty and chewy, so it was a nice substitute and a nice whole food plant-based substitute for this vegan shrimp and grits. I do use some of the fake soy meats here and there, but again, this 22-day nutrition is all about whole foods, plant-based, and no gluten, no soy. And like I said, the mushrooms was just perfect for this. So just gonna go ahead and get all of them into the pan and get them coated nice and good, and just kind of give it a quick stir. You guys probably noticed I love stirring. I don't know. Like, I'm one of those people who like can't keep the spoon out of the pot, but don't mind me. You just get everything coated and go ahead and cover it up and let it simmer for a little bit. And that's pretty much the most you're going to do for this dish. Once you kind of let it all come together and cook for just a little bit, that's pretty much it. We're just going to add a last final layer of flavor. I always like to add some freshness to like sauces and soups and stews and stuff like that. So in this case, I have some fresh parsley going in, and that is going to finalize the shrimp portion of this recipe. So again, treat yourself like Beyonce and fix yourself something decadent and rich and celebrity like, following the 22-day nutrition plan. And you can do it all in about 20 minutes. So, all right. So, with grits here, guys, I'm from a small town in South Carolina called St. George, which we actually have a grits festival every year because back in the 80s, they realized that per capita, St. George residents were eating more grits than anywhere else in the United States. So, needless to say, I'm one of the people who loves grits. So a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't cook grits. It's always lumpy." But this is the thing here. You got to get the water boiling, salt it very lightly, and you see how I have the grits going in on one hand and just a quick stir, continuous stir going on. That is the trick, okay? Because you don't really want to stop the water from boiling. And also, I'm just using your basic 5 minutes quicker grits. Now, the verdict is out as far as grits being gluten free or not, but grits is gluten free. It's just that in some places you have grits that may be produced in a place where there are other wheat products, but grits itself is a gluten free product, so you can feel safe to eat it and it does fit within this plan. So, once you kind of get everything stirred around so there's no lumps, you kind of want to just keep it going. And as you can see, once it kind of got to really bubbling, that's when I reduced the heat. This grits only takes about 5 minutes, but the same thing applies if you're making regular stone ground grits. You're basically just going to cook it a little bit longer, but you're looking to get everything coated and all together nicely in the pan. And I always just go in and just add some water as it thickens up. Every time it thickens up, I just add some water and just kind of keep it going. And for you guys who are not familiar with cooking grits a lot, if you need to keep grits warm for a while, if someone's not ready to eat right then, same thing applies. You can just add a little bit of water, just reduce the heat, and just keep stirring it from time to time, and it will remain perfect. So the grits is done, 5 minute grits or whatever kind you have. You want this texture right here, and if necessary, again, just go in and add a little bit more water and stir it in. Grits is very forgiving and it's also highly absorbent. So anything you put in there, you see it just went right back to the perfect texture and creaminess. And I think I just like stirring, but anyway, I'm just a perfectionist in the kitchen. But there you go, perfect grits, not too thick, not too thin, just perfect and ready for that sauce. But first, we're gonna get some kale here. So, having a nice rounded meal, you definitely want to have as much fiber as you can. Since we've got the grits and these shiitake mushrooms with the sauce, I thought the perfect thing to go with this would be a nice greenery. And the kale here, I went ahead and chopped it in some very small pieces just to kind of make it more palatable along with the grits. And here I'm just going to go ahead and get it in the pan with a little bit of water, as you saw at the beginning. Got some salt going in. And this I learned from Rachel Ray, like probably, I don't know, like way more than 10 years ago. Nutmeg. I don't always put it in greens, but for certain dishes I do. Nutmeg just adds a really nice flavor to greens. A little bit goes a long way. So in this I have some salt, some nutmeg, a little bit of thyme, and basically we're just gonna, the water is already simmering at the bottom. These aren't going to take very long at all. We're going to get them coated and get everything wilted before we cover the pan, and just let those flavors get cooked into these very simple greens. That's just going to add a really vitamin and antioxidant packed portion to this meal, and making it extra and super filling as well, because nothing keeps you fuller longer than nice healthy fibers that are virtually fat free and very low in calories. So we're going to go ahead and get everything melded together here and get the pan on. Let this go for a couple of minutes until the greens are tender, and voila, the greens are done. And we're going to add just a little bit more flavor here, just a tiny bit of maple syrup, and also we're going to go in with some balsamic vinegar and get all that stirred in together, and this dish is actually done. So once again, like I said, who would not enjoy something delicious like this? You can make it for yourself, for your husband. And I tell people all the time too, like if you have someone in the house, you're trying to go meat free and they're not ready yet, hey, cook them a piece of whatever on the side and trust me, they're still going to enjoy these plant-based recipes, because the goal here is to eat as many plants as possible so we can, get rid of all of these unhealthy diseases. So, but look at how beautiful this looks, guys. I honestly cannot tell you how delicious this really, really and truly is. And I won't be mad at you if you steal this recipe and make it your own in whatever way you decide. But the creamy grits, the shiitake mushrooms, the meatiness, the deep, rich taste of the sauce, and the nice texture of the greens is like one delicious bite. So I hope you guys enjoyed this
So guys,
recipe.
that was the vegan shrimp and grits. Let me tell you, it was just as delicious and fun to eat as it was creating the video. I hope you guys give this recipe a try. If you are looking for more weight loss type recipes, and I'm gonna link my how to lose belly fat recipe here. I've got some tasty fall soup recipes that will help you do just that. Also, just watch any more of my videos and leave a comment below, because I want to ask you guys, what would you like to see me make next? Share your thoughts, guys. I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you in my next video.